too. But maybe that's what I deserve. Fall to quit, not to get hurt. Hope I find another you, find another you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first week of the Upsurge Premier League playoffs. Tonight, we'll be watching as world-class Empyreans take it on against ANEW Esports. Both of these teams come from a lengthy background of success, so tonight's series will definitely be one to remember. I am your play-by-play caster, Zephyr, and for the first time in a very long time, I am joined by the lovely Audio as my color. How are you doing tonight, Audio?
Lovely. You flatter me, Zephyr. So glad to be on the desk with you once again. You're right, it has been a hot minute that we've been able to cast together. And what a series to come back to as well. UPL playoffs first round. We get to see world-class Empyreans who, after their recent rebrand, have had a incredible successful week. Going up against ANEW, there needs no introduction for this team. This is one of the most storied teams in amateur. They've got some incredibly veteran players on their roster. And I mean, it's kind of obvious coming in here that they are going to be the favorites. But I mean, we'll talk a little bit about it as the game goes on. World Class have been looking pretty phenomenal.
Oh, I mean, that's kind of an understatement to say world class have been looking pretty phenomenal. I know we're on the official stream, so I'm not trying to throw any bias anywhere, but world class in the last few weeks here have been performing just absurd across the board. And I mean, ANEW, they're coming to an actual fight here tonight. I know they're the planned favorites and everyone's looking for them to win here, but world class is really nothing to shove off.
Yeah, going back about 3 weeks to their rebrand just from Empyreans to world-class Empyreans, they brought in Eclipse in the mid lane. They moved Rovex down to support. He is going to be renamed to NML XIII 999. We're not going to try to attempt that name on broadcast. We're just going to say Rovex. So if you hear us say Rovex, we're talking about the support. Where he'll most likely be. They actually are running the 6-man roster, so occasionally he'll flex back to the mid lane and they'll bring in Special K, who was their support previously and who is now playing substitute. But since this roster has been put together, this new iteration, this new rebrand, they have gone a total of just over 15 and 14 in match wins across the entire Scouting Ground circuit. But most importantly, they have, in the last week, they have 2-0'd Mirage, Supernova Dark Matter, Supernova Main Squad, 2-1'd Wildcard, and their only loss of the last week was to Polarace, where they took it to a Game 3, and that was a pretty close fight. So they are definitely coming off a very hot streak. And this is going to be their first real test of the new roster and the new brand, going up against ANEW, one of the best teams historically in amateur, to see, okay, you've shown you're good, but how good are you? Are you a top team? Are you a top half team? Where do you actually fall in line with those things?
I mean, this will definitely be the series that will... One thing I do want to kind of point out here for ANEW Esports is, especially with the recent changes here, we've been seeing a little bit of change in terms of the play style of this team. We've seen a few losses that were a bit more surprising in regards to ANEW as a whole here. So if this was the series to truly prove something, I definitely think it'll be this.
Absolutely. And as we get into the draft phase here, we got to talk about one player in particular on world-class Empyreans, and that is City Witty, because draft phase is City Witty City, baby. In almost all of their wins, it came from an aggressive jungler plus an enchanter in the mid lane, whether that be the Karma or the Lulu or something like that, usually paired with City Witty's Olaf or Kindred. Like, I cannot stress this enough, how dominant City Witty has been on these champions against any team that they have come up against. And when it has been banned away, when teams have targeted him, they've looked significantly weaker. So I really think if ANEW have done their homework, they are going to have to throw multiple bans in the very first phase over towards City Witty, because World Class will devote all of their resources towards it.
No, absolutely. Just to give some context here, I know we're kind of making our way through these transitions right now. We're having a little bit of some technical difficulties getting these two teams organized up here, but we're going to try as best we can to get everything just underway as quickly as possible. So just kind of want to make that present and clear to everyone watching.
Yep, I did just get an update, and because the game started a little bit late, there is going to be some loss of bans, I believe, from ANEW. Just for game one, just because they were a little bit tardy. It's just league rules. We are in the UPL, as we said. This is the first round of playoffs, so obviously wanting to get these games started on time. So you'll probably see some troll bans coming out from ANEW, to be honest. Just some throwaway bans, or I don't even remember if there's an option to ban none, would be more likely. But the Syndra ban, the first one, this is a pretty standard blue side ban. Yeah. I don't see a lot of Syndra from World Class, so not wanting to give it over, it's an easy ban.
All right, absolutely here. We're going to see, look at that first prompt there. They're going to throw away their first ban here, of course, and I'm interested to see now, especially when we targeted the concept of City Witty here, I would be surprised if they actually throw those last two bans towards the Olaf and Kindred, like you were just saying. And in that sense there, what else will they let through now that they've kind of lost that? So what might have been just a few minutes of delay actually could make or break this first game for him, which could set the pace as a whole for this series.
Well, absolutely, and especially because it's not just one ban that they lose. I do believe they lose all of their bans for game one.
Oh my gosh.
It's definitely going to be a detriment to them, because we talked about City Witty City. They love to pick the Olaf or the Kindred first rotation, and especially being on blue side, they're going to have the pick of the litter here. And you can see them starting to target 5-fire there in the mid lane. I think this is a smart idea, because if you're going to get your whatever jungler you want in the first pick, the next piece of that puzzle is grabbing a strong enchanter support. So if you can already start banning out some of the bad matchups for the Karmas and the Lulus, you can get a dream mid-jungle duo. And when we talk about how is World Class going to take down the Titan that is ANEW, it's through the mid-jungle. Trying to attack Mike Young and 5-fire is not easy, but it's the best shot that World Class have.
One thing I want to point out here, especially with that concept with the Enchantress picks that can come through here, you can throw that either through the Eclipse in the mid lane or run it in the bot lane onto what is Rovex, that is listed as MLX, whatever, 999. But that is, of course, Rovex. And that has a great factor because Rovex once was a mid laner, and then after the rebrand, he shifted his position down to the support pool here for the side of World Class Empyreans. So the concept of having that entire just pool available to you, I mean, that is great. That's two lanes that you can work with here. But either way, looking pretty standard right off the bat here. They're going to be securing the Aphelios first pick here.
This is a strong pick, and I think it's a good takeaway from ANEW, but it actually surprises me a little bit, the fact that they didn't just lock in the Olaf or the Kindred right away. The Graves is going to be the hover. This is a Mike Young special if they want to grab it. No, instead, the set, a bit of a flex pick, can really go in a multitude of lanes. I actually think it could go into every single position with the players that are on this team. So this is a really good job by ANEW to just hide their starting hand and not show any of what their game plan is.
I'd be a little surprised with that concept in mind if we saw the set ever grace its way onto Shoryu's hands. But hey, Audio, if that's the concept you want to run with, then sure. Either way, we're going to see the aggressive jungler already set up and lined up in response to what will probably be the Olaf or Kindred here. Looking like Mike Young is going to be picking up the Graves into this first game here. And of course, what looks to be the immediate response is going to be the Kindred we've been so dearly... Oh, maybe not. They're probably going to save this one because they know they don't have the bans out yet. Looking like they're going to start securing what could be the Enchantress. Or no. Wow.
You can still pick it up this rotation. The Thresh is actually going to be the pick. So it's just going to be World Class making sure that they have a very strong bot lane in the Thresh and the Aphelios. Aphelios, still one of the stars in the bot lane. When you're talking about raw DPS and team fights, he pretty much can't be matched. And Thresh offers such a level of safety for your entire team. And I actually don't mind this, grabbing these picks early, because knowing that your the enemy team cannot ban against you, and that they've already picked their jungler, you could pick up Olaf the very last pick if you wanted to, or the Kindred. There's nothing that's going to stop you. So making sure that they pick up some strong points on the other areas of the map and making sure that ANEW can't take them away is going to be their priority.
Looking a bit safer here now for the bot side. Sure, you're going to be locking in what looks to be that Ezreal, securing that position out. The set could make its way down bot lane and secure itself in Winter's Place, but I'd be a bit more surprised, especially with some of the bans left on the board here. But going to be seeing a little bit of a slower paced lane towards there, not so much of the aggression. We're going to be definitely waiting towards the mid to late games phases here to start seeing a bit more of the aggression, because either way, you're not really going to have much of an impact when you start trying to play that aggressively out there.
Definitely not. ANEW is going to continue to allow their bans to time out, and now we get to see some of the more important pieces of the puzzle for World Class. The last two bans will probably be targeting Fire once again. They've already thrown the Syndra and the Rumble ban at him. I expect this Karma to go into the mid lane, but that's super important. Take it away, Yumi. Just completely skip my mind that through the first half of draft phase, the Yumi is still on the table. So not going to be there anymore. We're not going to get one of the most annoying bottom lanes in existence.
Yeah, no. I was a bit surprised. I almost was kind of thinking maybe World Class was actually going to force the hand here of ANEW and kind of give that away, which honestly is very surprising. I don't know why you'd ever do that. But of course, that ban does come through there, and it succumbs, and it is secured after they finally do see that Ezreal come through there. So hopefully we're going to see something safe picked in as well as a response to that. But either way here, looking for that final ban, we still have a lot of great flex potential here for the side of World Class. We're still looking to see what they're going to be throwing through into that top side of the map. Could see some flex rotation, but nothing quite secured yet. They're going to be removing Fire's Orianna in response, though.
Yep, one of the last really great zone control picks. I know Fire loves these champions where he can just get into a river, control the vision, and then use the CC of his kit to find picks. I know the Vigar is another one that he is very well known for, as well as the Zoe. But the Blitzcrank, this is a really interesting one. If you want to kind of take down this protect one carry composition, Blitzcrank is a phenomenal way to do it, because if you can find a pick onto that carry that the entire team is built up to protect, I mean, there's really not much else you can do when you get hooked in.
You know, I think it's one of the best skill-based supports that you can pull out here, because you are basically all or nothing when you throw that Blitzcrank into your bot lane. You are looking for the success of that hook to break up some of these major team fights and start throwing a loop in the entire plan of world-class Empyreans here. If that can't come through, it is essentially a waste of a pick. It doesn't have quite as much as the strength as we see from other supports here, but if you have the skill potential, that is just going to throw everything on its head. Now looking here, City Witty makes the decision. Kindred Olaf. It's going to be the Olaf paired with the Ornn on the top side.
We talked about how they had the luxury of waiting till the very last pick to grab City Witty's champion because there's no bans on the other side. Waiting until after the Blitzcrank comes through is so crucial, because if you had picked that Kindred in the first rotation, Blitzcrank is a great way to shut that down. You can yank people right out of the Lamb's Respite, and then it essentially becomes a worthless tool. You've eliminated that huge team fight threat, but the Olaf is going to be able to completely nullify the Blitzcrank. If he gets hooked, that's exactly where you want to be, is right in the thick of it. And there you go, Fire going to lock in one of his best champions, the Zoe. He was pinched pretty hard, but I think ANEW is going to be pretty happy with this draft. They've got a lot of poke, they've got some decent engage with the set and the Blitzcrank, and Mike Young on a Graves is always a treat to watch.
Definitely. I do think one big concept I'm going to be watching out here for when it comes to ANEW is they've got a window to play through, and then after that window, it's going to be a lot harder to make things happen. The scaling potential of the peel here for some of these carries on World Class, it's going to become so difficult to enact that poke effectively. Pair that with the potential concept of a Great Ocean Dragon potentially hitting the Rift here. It's going to nullify the concept of Shoryu and Fire on both their respective champions here. And if you don't see that early aggression to transition into the strengths that they need during that short window of time, I honestly think ANEW's going to fall flat.
It's definitely a danger for them. What I'm going to be looking for from ANEW is to really track City Witty. Watch this jungler as he moves around the map. This is a very rotation-heavy team. ever since this, kind of reban for world-class Empyreans, the game plan for them is get Citywitty on a carry, yes, but then move around as a unit. Try to fight for these early objectives. They very frequently will rotate Lost in a moment and Rovex up to the top side as soon as the Herald spawns, or even if they just want to secure lane dominance, they will pull people all the way across the map in order to do so. So if you don't have good vision control and you get caught off guard by this outnumbering of these multiple members roaming up when you don't expect it, that's where World Class is going to have an edge. However,
Absolutely.
I think, although we have talked a lot about World Class because ANEW is a bit more of a known quantity, we cannot deny the veterancy of this squad. You have 3 former professional players that were playing in Academy not too long ago with Mike Young, Five Fire, and Winter. So if anybody is going to know when these rotations are coming through or how to track their opponents, it is going to be them. And I expect that World Class is going to have a bit of a harder time catching them off guard than they have with some of their previous opponents.
I brought this up in a little bit of that pre-discussion that we got to have here before the game started. World Class is one of the best teams at taking advantage of the early chaos that can come about on the Rift here. They use that potential to get some of these early picks or maybe an early invade here at level 1 or some of those early contested objectives, and then they try to transition that into a bit of a snowball or just lead into the general mid to late game strength towards their win here. Against teams that have a great sense for the game, some of the better teams like ANEW here being one of them, this is going to be a real test to the strength of World Class, because any faulty mistake here and some of that risky early playstyles could blow up entirely in their face.
I like that you brought up the level 1 as well, because in a lot of their previous games, and I am talking the vast majority, I only saw one of the games in all of the VODs that I reviewed where world-class Empyreans did not go for a 5-man level 1 invade. Even if they were spotted out, they were willing to dive through turrets to try to find a level 1 kill. And when you look at this composition of an Olaf plus multiple CC forms with the Thresh, the Karma, and the Ornn, they had the composition to go for that level 1, especially against champions that won't have escapes right away. So I would definitely expect them to get super aggressive, and ANEW has to be careful.
Well, that aggression is going to be something we're going to be looking out for here as we make our way into Game 1. But with that, we're going to get everything all loaded up. So everyone, I hope you stick around and stay tuned for what will be an exciting Game 1. All right, welcome back. Getting into game one here of World Class Empyreans versus ANEW Esports. And audio right off the back, I'm waiting for it. I am looking to see this early level
Watch
one
'em.
invade. They're already making their way top. I love this.
This is a classic. I mean, you can already see the pings moving out as a 5-man squad. The idea for this is they're going to be looking for just one pick. Obviously, Robex, sorry. I see the name. I don't want to call him that. But he's going to be looking for an early hook, potentially a Karma stun. City Witty is just going to waste the
Looking at Rodolph here, going to be slowed by the axe. Let's see what he does. The flash is forced. So good. They're already taking advantage of that early invade. Now we're going to see that rotation up here by Mike Young. Curious to see what they do right by this red buff.
Yeah, and this is not a team that will walk in, get a flash, and then typically back out. They're going to do it now because I said that, but in the past, they have continued to go for the multiple camp steal, trying to get really deep vision. They'll stick around for a long time. It might not work against ANEW. They're probably just paying a little bit of extra respect to their opponents. But it is really good that they're able to walk up there. They get Rodolph's flash. That set now is very vulnerable. He doesn't have a lot of escape. So if you can get City Witty up into that top side early on and get a good knockup, could be a turnaround.
Yeah. Going to be looking for a perfect grit management here from Rodolph. One thing I do like about this was the positioning from Speedo there early, making sure he pushed Mike Young out of the red side jungle here. They made the rotation down to the opposite side here onto World Class's jungle looking for a response. They get that early vision, so no actual movement. They steal that red.
They've also warded their own red buff. Fire walked up there and drops a vision, so they will know if City Witty tries to answer to go for the red steal and try to enact vertical jungling. It looks like he's not going to, though. He's just going to go for a full blue side clear. He wants to path down towards that bottom side early. I'm not too sure about this, especially with Rodolph being flashless, but...
Yeah, it's a bit surprising, especially after what they pulled off and what it looked like their game plan was. They're not really playing true to it. We do see City Witty now making his way towards the top side here, but Speedo has actually taken a lot of poke and response from Rodolph here. I don't know if the 2v1 will go as smoothly as planned if they're looking for it right now.
Rodolph playing this one very respectfully. He hard shoves the wave so he can make sure he gets level 2, and then expecting that Olaf was just about to finish up his first initial clear, backs off and plays really respective so he doesn't get punished. Now you can see City Witty going in for that counter jungling, but Mike Young might be meeting him at the red buff.
Yeah, Mike Young here, going to be spotting out City Witty here, looking for the rotation potentially. He's not going to be able to pick up the red buff. Now he's down 5 fire, going to be throwing down this massive flash coming over the wall, but Rodolph is already there. Response to get the out here, but it does not matter. 5 fire, going to be the first one to pick up a kill here for ANEW Esports.
Absolutely brilliant from ANEW. We talked about they need to track the jungler. They could not have done it better than that. They knew exactly where he was at all points of time, and they're able to collapse, get his flash plus a kill. He didn't even get the red buff, so massive start here for Mike Young. He is going to be miles ahead of the Olaf, and things are looking a bit scary now for World Class. Their main win condition is going to be starting off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, starting to take a bit of a backseat here. It definitely still has the potential to make its way through. We talked a little bit about the windows that ANEW has able to play through here. So I'm going to be waiting to see if they take advantage of that. But it pulls back to the veterancy that we talked about earlier. They knew how to track and play around this, and they did it so well. Yeah, Winter there, barely missing that hook.
It's MVP minion there, World Class, blocking that hook. Surely would have been at least a flash going down. City Witty's going to hover around mid lane, but once again, ANEW is playing very smartly. They know that there's going to be no more camps roll off on the top side. The only other option is for him to be down here, and so Winter and Shoryu are just going to back up and let this wave shove into them. Winter's fishing.
He's fishing. He's looking for something to pull out here. One big thing I do like is Rapidex being able to pull off the consistent poke here against Shoryu, and it's actually putting him a bit farther behind lane. Look at the CS difference beginning to form here as he throws that wave into turret.
Ooh. He has been able to get a bit more
Rodolph
aggressive.
Here? No, not quite. Sorry, just a little bit broke going back and forth here. Rodolph chasing that one out quite deeply, running it all the way to turret there. Jeez.
Does chunk him down, but Speedo is playing the tank, bruiser, assassin, mage tank. So I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I think he'll be just fine. He'll be able to hit that one up. Ooh, bit of teleport coming in here as the Dragon is started up from the side of World Class. You got Shoryu making way through, going to be hooked in immediately as a knockup comes out from Winter. The knockup from Speedo from his teleport comes through, but he's going to go down almost immediately as we see the steal from ANEW. 2 kills picked up as well. Fire over the wall, looking here on to Rapidex, going for the chaser. The kill going over to Fire for the double. ANEW with an incredible collapse.
What a disaster for World Class, but I think ANEW are smiling ear to ear right now. It was actually Rodov who teleported first to that play. It looked like it might have been interrupted. That was a weird interaction, but Speedo joins the fight. He's under 25% HP. Mike Young is happy to steal that Dragon away, take a free kill onto the Ornn, and I mean, it's just ANEW cleaning up. They had full control over mid and bot wave. They had the health bar advantage. I really don't know what World Class was doing going for that fight and committing so many resources to it.
It's some of that risky play styles we were discussing before the game began here. Ooh, good knock up. Rodov, though, does have the 6 advantage as Fire makes his way through. The showstopper going to be landed and slammed down here. That bubble's going to come as he goes to sleep. Speedo taken out with the haymakers. Rodov picking up a kill for himself in the top lane.
And they rinse and repeat the aggression. They know Speedo has no sums. Fire takes an easy roam to the top side. Just the cherry on top that Rodov managed to hit level 6 before Speedo did. And Fire is even able to get back in time to pick up most of the wave, just misses a few melee minions.
Ooh, now here, we see the movement. We're going to be pushed back as Rapidex is dealing with the poke finally coming through here from Shoryu. Trying to see Rovex get back into position here as we saw that push come through. Either way, great pressure applied here from Winter, trying to keep him off. He's going to be actually launching forward with the knockup immediately. We're going to see him taking half health. Shoryu forced to back off due to the crescendo. Winter now getting chased instead. The Inferno crescendo combo. That's going to be the deaths. Hook coming through there. Gets the stun in response. Can't follow up, though. Rapidex, bit too low.
He has the damage, but he has to be so careful. Winter was waiting for him to walk up so he could land that hook. It is going to be Rovex taking that one for him, but you can see the damage already that Aphelios is able to do just with a simple pickaxe. So if World Class want to get a foothold back in this game, they're really going to have to focus on Lost in a Moment. True Shot Barrage. So close.
Not quite. That Lancer going to be saving that bit out there. The Infernum's still available. Going to be switching out to Severum finally here, but nothing quite secure for that bot lane. You do have City Witty. He's got Ragnarok now.
That's the important thing. That Shoryu was able to stop the backs of both Rovex and Lost in a Moment. So they're here, 200 HP, and here comes Mike Young looking for a dive.
Mike Young looking for the dive here in this backside. Got Fire as well. Massive Poke gonna miss here on the rise. I'm sure you secures the kill in the backline as we see the collateral damage picking up from Mike Young. It's gonna be a 2-for-1 in the bot lane for ANEW.
They're going to trade one back. Winter falling to the turret. That one's going to go to City Witty, but a near flawless dive from ANEW there. They're able to stop the backs. They capitalize perfectly. Fire is on a rampage right now. 3-0-2, just 8 minutes in. He is going to be such a scary opponent going into these mid-game team fights where you don't have to.
Very nice. Rodov here just trying to stack up those turrets as best he can, and for the damage that I thought would come through from Speedo, he's able to get out of that one with less than half his health available. Speedo actually the one who took more damage trying to secure that wave's pressure.
Yeah, now they brought Shoryu and Winter up to the top side.
Oh, the Forge God gonna be used as a response. Gets the knockup onto Rodov, throws the stun down. Stackfield gonna get the silence. Yep, that kill's gonna be going over to Rodov. Look at the 4-man rotation from ANEW early.
And ANEW have just been honestly doing so well at poking down members in lane and holding them there until Mike Young and Fire can roam up and just collect the free kills on the dive. Now they're going to get a free Herald off the back of that. Multiple plates go over to Rodov. And although Lost in a Moment and Rovex are going to get 2 plates on the bot side, it's still a massive swing for ANEW.
Yeah, we see the response going to be picked up here. We do see the rotation from City Witty. They're not going to let that Rift Herald go just clean over to ANEW. In fact, they're going to turn here. Fire tries to rotate up. He's going to get a massive poke, and the Drowsy Bubble going to come through there, but Eclipse is there for the defense. The Rift Herald that they started up was stolen.
That 10-minute Luden's Echo is doing some serious work for Zoe. As you can see, he chunks City Witty out to half HP just from one Sleepy Bubble Trouble. And yeah, I mean, ANEW really just have the entire map under their control right now. It is their game to lose, and with a 4,000 gold lead just 10 minutes in, they are going to have to make some serious mistakes if World Class want to come back into this one. Now, Infernal Dragon on the table, this would be a new second Drake. They do have control over both mid and bottom.
I definitely could look to make a play here. We already see the Dragon being started up. Mike Young on it aggressively. Eclipse going to be taken very low there. We see the approach as City Witty throws the Rift Herald bot lane. We're going to see True Shot Barrage in response to see Ragnarok. The steal does come through. Managed to get that one out with the Ragnarok being used there. Winter Shore, you're going to be returning to this lane here. Potentially stop the Ripper. They're going to be rooted in the meanwhile from the ground. A great play to pull him back. The box not quite going to hit. Moonlight Vigil does come down for the Inferno. They're very low to kills. It's a double for Rapidex. And now the turret's looking mighty, mighty low. First turret going over to Eclipse in a sudden change of events.
200 years allows world-class Empyreans to get back on the board. City Witty returns the favor, steals away the Dragon for himself, and Lost in a Moment finds some big damage, grabbing 2 kills. I almost thought they were going to walk away from that one after the Infernum ultimate. Just such low health bars, but he's able to flash forward. He picks up the 2 kills, and now the remaining win condition for World Class is alive and doing very well in this game.
Yeah, picking up those 2 kills for us. We're going to start chugging away, getting Aphelios towards his first Item Spike in that Infinity Edge. It's not quite yet there, but it's almost available. Now looking at the rotation here, we're going to be throwing the bot lane up top here, but ANEW is no sleeper. They've already made their way there as well. We're going to see the grab and root come down onto Rodov there. Seeing the aggression pull through here as Rapidex Rodov are taking very low. Showstopper going to be using response. Rodov picks up the kills on Aphelios, and we see the hook come through from Blitzcrank. The response with the Call of the Forge God. Not quite going to be enough. Now the Drowsy Bow puts this man to a sleep. Eclipse flash forward. Winter going to be slowed down in response there. Tries to get the knock up, but he's going to be rooted and killed. City Witty getting that one for himself. A great collapse and response here from the side of World Empyreans. Now the turret here, not quite going to be safe as Mike Young finally making his way to the fight. Eclipse trying to chase this one out. Great stopwatch to dodge the collateral damage with a flash forward. Gets Mike Young the kill. The response, though, is to death into the hands of City Witty. It's non-stop with these 2 teams, Audio.
Gonna be a 2 for 2 at the end of it all, but both of those kills going to the jungler for world-class Empyreans. One of them a shutdown onto Mike Young, making up a little bit for that early game. City Witty's got some of that cash money back in his pocket. Meanwhile, Shoryu did not decide to commit the teleport to join his team. He instead cashed in on a couple plates in the bottom lane. And I think if you're world class, this is fine. Now you can pick up Rodov.
Yeah, looking for the collapse. So slow is going to come through. Flash forced out there to dodge that flay, but that's going to be a 5-minute summoner now off the board. Meanwhile, we see the rotation here from ANEW trying to pick off this mid lane turret. Eclipse going to be clearing this way the best he can. Woo!
He takes a big chunk. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Fire is going to go straight towards that death cap next. He is already chunking out Eclipse at half HP, who has magic resist from the Athene's Holy Grail. Only 30, but
Rapidex stacking up the Crescendum, got 4 there. Fire trying to launch forward. We see the Moonlight Vigil shut down immediately in response.
No way!
Deal with, but now on the sideline, we're going to see Rovex being chased out. The stun does come through from the Death Sense. The box is laid down for the slow. Well, can he survive the blast? The stopwatch saved the day, but Mike Young with a double as Eclipse is forced into him as a result. Great movement there from Mike Young.
Mike Young says anything
True Shot Barrage. Sure, you flash forward, City Witty. Oh, jeez, the axe from the sky raining down. Did not expect that damage.
These teams are relentless right now. They are fighting left, right, and center. If they lock eyes on you, they will chase you down until somebody is put into the ground. And it's Mike Young and Lost in a Moment that are the biggest benefactors on either team, picking up all these kills, these scrappy fights. And You can see there, lost in a moment, 1v2, able to find that damage.
Mike Young trying to pull this one out here. He's got the grab him, gets the double for himself, but that damage isn't gonna be there with those two weapons. We do see the response there from Rovex to be a bit more protective for a team. This mid turret's gonna survive for just a little bit longer.
All right. Let's take a step back. Deep breaths.
Little breathing.
There is going to be the dragon spawning here in just under a minute. We will be seeing a Cloud Soul. Not the most beneficial soul when you stack them up against the other ones, but with some low cooldown ultimates like the Zoe, you see the Karma on these other sides, especially with all the movement speed for these two, it is going to be important.
Taking the slow here, the Ragnarok coming out immediately. The
bird.
As we see a great call of Fire God for protection, but City Witty taken so low. I did not expect the Knuckle Down to do that much.
That is one squishy Olaf, especially after he pops the Ragnarok. Has some health and armor built into his items, but I mean, this is a full Blade of the Ruined King on Rodov. Not to mention being 3 levels up over the jungler. They're going to take the consolation prize of the Herald. They'll give the Dragon over to ANEW Esports. Going to pick up their second. And I don't think that this is a good trade for World Class. As long as you can go even-ish in gold when you're behind, you'll take that any day of the week. Now they're just going to try to hold on to this mid lane tier 1.
Hey, I like the move there for the Rift Herald instead of the Cloud. They can catch up with the Clouds later as you start bringing the windows forward and getting stuff like Aphelios on board. You cannot make up the Rift Herald. That's only going to be on the map for another 3 or 4 minutes. You got to take it now while you have the advantage.
We'll see what they're able to do with it, though. Rift Herald, obviously, one of those objectives where, yeah, great, you secured it, but what can you actually do with it? Because by itself, it's almost worthless.
Wow! I expected a little bit of damage, but I did not expect the missile that came from Five Fire. True Shot Barrage, by the way, slams that down as well. Forces those backs to stop. Mike Young! Gosh, it looks like ANEW is just running this map.
I like this from Mike Young. Going for the second item, Edge of Night, really prevents him from getting just bursted down by those quick spell combos where he gets CC'd by a Thresh Hook or an Aphelios with the Gravitum Cannon. It also gives him that upfront burst that this composition is really all about. He wants to get up in your face while taking out fast.
Good response, though. The Ragnarok used to pull that one now. Now we see Rapid Vigil. Nothing pulled for either of these two teams, but the cooldowns are down now.
These teams just do not stop fighting. You have 22 kills in 18 minutes, over a kill a minute. I mean, yeah, this is world-class Empyrean style. They like to play fast, they like to play aggressive and proactive. I thought that maybe ANEW would be the ones to slow it down a bit, but they've really answered the gauntlet. They've said, hey, you want to go toe-to-toe? We're going to fight you every single step of the way. And so far, it's been successful for them. You look down the line at the score lines, 3-0 for Rodov, 5-1 for Mike Young, 4-1 for Five Fire. They have the gold exactly where they want it to be. They could care less about Shoryu right now. Great player, but he's on an Ezreal.
Looking at that mid lane, looking for the collapse here. Carl, the Forge Guy, going to be using melee. Out, going to be destructive. The static field does come out in response to the moment. Damage thrown out from Mike Young here, possibly looking to chase this one out. The Severum going to be doing the work to push him off here as we see the response from Eclipse to get a bit of the slow pacing. It's going to be 1 kill for World Class, but now they're very low and they cannot defend this mid lane.
Going to be a lot of tools committed for that, though. The Ornn Ultimate plus the Summoner Heal from Lost in a Moment just for Winter's Life. Not even worth a whole lot of gold at the moment, and look at that, they're able to break down another turret because these health bars are so low from that fight.
At this point, world-class Empyreans haven't got the tankiness on their belt to have a secured front line, and as a result, ANEW is wrapping through them. And look at this. They cannot do anything to defend as the top turret as well, even after the reset. I mean, surprising. Ooh, Jazzy Bubble here going to be caught out onto Eclipse there. Uses that Lantern to get him out of the sticky situation, but Five Fire is just so aggressive.
There is a reason he is known for this champion. It was one of his staple picks when he did play on Evil Genius's Academy roster. It was the Zoe plus the Rumble. And still to this day, he consistently draws bans on these two champions. This time, they chose to take away the Rumble, they let through the Zoe. I think World Class might be regretting that at this point.
Yeah,
Death Cat included. This is such a scary Zoe, and it forces you to play so defensively around the vision. You have to put a ward over every wall and every brush, because if you get hit by that Sleepy Bubble Trouble...
Ooh. Over here is Showstopper, going to be throwing this one out. Ragnarok going to be used. A massive pick off Mike Young, just ripping through the backline. Attention gets the Rovex. Now they look to the chats. We see the flash forward Eclipse there going to be flashing in response. We see the stun CC come out from Speedo. He's trying to do his best, but a massive chain of damage coming through from Zoe there. It's going to be another kill onto the belt of Mike Young. And with 4 members down from World Class Empyreans, the Baron's free on the board.
And I think we've gotten to the point where we can safely say that World Class has started to think about game number 2. This one is fallen completely out of their control. Even if they were to play perfectly from here on out, it would still take multiple large mistakes from ANEW to actually throw this game away. They're sitting 10,000 gold up at the 20-minute mark. They've got the Baron. They're probably going to head to the Dragon to put themselves onto Soul Point. Or, honestly, if they just wanted to march down mid and take that open inhibitor because the base is broken open, they could do that too. I'm so impressed by what we've seen from the squad. We thought that maybe ANEW were trending a little bit downwards. They've lost a couple of games, given up some that they shouldn't have, and World Class has shown some really good performances against some top-tier teams, but, I mean, this is just more than I could have expected from ANEW. This is a slaughter.
Yeah, definitely a slaughter here. Going to see that level dodged out by the Ragnarok there in response, but we see Death staved off just a little bit longer as World Class Empyreans are able to pick up the Cloud Drake for themselves. But like you said, Audio, all ANEW has to do is just take this and just march it straight down the mid lane, and it already looks like they're making their way to possibly just end this right now. Speedo here going to be caught out, thrown through the face breaker, and we pulling him back there. Haymaker to slow him down as well to half health. Now we see the aggression in the mid lane here. We see the Moonlight Vigil thrown down for the grab and route to come through onto Winter. The death sentence does come through, and the kill goes over the way of City Witty. Speedo on the side there with the call to Forge. Got to be taken incredibly low, and it's going to be the burn damage. It takes us when Stoppers run up, goes deep into the back line here. Lost the moment, trying to kite this one out. It doesn't matter, though. It's going to be a double kill for Mike Young, and ANEW Esports, in a surprising turn of events, manages to absolutely demolish this early game and turn it down in less than 23 minutes.
I mean, I came in here predicting that ANEW were gonna probably walk away with the victory. I think anybody that knows their history
not
would
like
come to
this,
the same conclusion,
Audio,
but not like
this.
Oh my god! And remember, they didn't get any bans in this game either. This was the dream draft for World Class Empyreans. They got City Witty on one of his 2 favorite picks. They got the Enchanter support. Lost in a moment, got the Aphelios. And still, ANEW were able to just match them every step of the way and just completely outclass them while doing it.
Yeah, absolutely just dominant performance from ANEW here. And this is a team I did not expect to take it so aggressively to the front here tonight. But they showed up, and they showed that they can play it just as fast and just as wild as World Class Empyreans. And honestly, it's definitely surprised me.
And I'm really glad to see it too, because obviously there's a lot of discussion around ANEW right now because of the recent Scouting Grounds rules changes, effectively removing 3/5 of their roster from being able to compete in Scouting Grounds. Even if they were to win every single circuit, it's Mike Young, Winter, and Fire that would not be eligible to be invited. A lot of people had questions. How is this going to affect their mental? Are they going to be as motivated? Will they be putting their all into these matches? All doubts gone. Every single one. They came out and honestly, they looked a little bit angry.
Yeah, I definitely think this team is here to stay and here to play. No surprise being said there. This is a team that, like you said, has the veterancy. But with that now, World Class, they've got a game to defend themselves, or it is all over here in the Upsurge playoffs. With that, though, we're going to get everything organized as we try to make our way into a Game 2 in what could potentially be the last game here for World Class Empyreans.
make me alive, make me alive. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire. If I say goodbye, then make me alive, make me alive. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire. On fire. If I say goodbye, then make me alive. If I say goodbye, then make me alive. If I say goodbye, then make me alive, make me alive. My heart's heating up, this love is on fire, love is on fire, on fire.
All right, getting back into game 2 here of ANEW Esports versus World Class Empyreans. And let me tell you, Audio, after that game 1, it has completely turned me on my head about my thoughts here on World Class.
So, before this game, I went down and I did some research. I looked into a lot of the VODs from World Class, and I even took some notes. Got this little piece of paper, wrote down a lot of notes, and I tried to figure out how can World Class do this. Right now, those notes are sitting at the bottom of my trash can because Game 1 completely convinced me that there is no way for ANEW to actually lose this series, bar some absolute miracle or straight up int, because ANEW couldn't ban that first game. It was a coach's dream for World Class. They got to put together whatever composition they wanted, and they got Rick rolled.
Yeah, that is an absolutely insane way to put it here. Already looking at these initial bans here, and you can already tell the hold is on World Class Empyreans. They've already gotten rid of Sid Witty's Kindred. The karma from last game on Eclipse, which was actually sustaining some of these fights to exist for the extended period that they managed to pull through here, that's gone. The Ezreal, which was played through from Shoryu, that's gone. In response with the Syndra and Varus that are also additionally gone, you are choking the 80 picks. And that Aphelios, of course, that's going to go first pick to blue side here for ANEW. So now you have to look at the response from World Class. It is a world of hurt, Audio.
Yeah. That's the easiest pickup in the world there for ANEW. Shoryu is an insane Aphelios. A lot of the 200 years memes that you see in the amateur scene just happen to be over his clips, where he's just dominating opponents because he is so goddamn good at this champion, and he makes it just look too easy. I do like the Graves pickup for World Class. City Witty has an aggressive playstyle. It normally comes out through the Kindred and the Olaf. Kindred banned away. They are fine letting the Olaf go through. They obviously have no problem beating it. Graves is kind of the next best thing. It fits City Witty's playstyle, and it's also a takeaway from ANEW. So Kalista going to be the next one locked in. I think their only option is to try to attack ANEW early, and they realize that even if it's not their typical bot lane playstyle, they have to go all in.
Yeah, I definitely think if you're going to play it hard and fast, you've definitely got to put all the money down on the table, go all in, try to be it just wild as hell. Because at this point, there's really nothing for you to lose. I mean, of course, you can lose playoffs, but in terms of testing the limits of what you are capable of against a team that is going to take advantage of every single mistake that you put on the field here, World Class Empyreans, they've got to try something.
They do, and I mean, talking about that last game a little bit, it's City Witty City, baby. That's the game plan for World Class Empyreans, and Mike Young plus 5fire honestly read him like a book. They had really good wards in the jungle, spotting him out on both of his buffs, knowing exactly when he was pathing up to the top side, and then playing around it correctly. World Class have got to find a way to either hide their path or come up with some other creative options, because it's so predictable the way they play their early game. They're going to go for a 5-man stack level 1 invade. Then, if they blow a flash, they're going to immediately send City Witty to that lane. So, I mean, there has to be a change-up, because if World Class continue to play the way that they've played nearly every game in the last 2 weeks, then yeah, ANEW is going to beat them again.
Looking here, we do see kind of the similar setup go through on that bot lane. You secure Rovex's Thresh. That's going to be same concept as last time. In response, though, we saw the Zoe last game. Now we get to see the Rumble. 5fire secures the pick in the mid lane, and that is just going to burn through the competition.
I think 5fire at this point is just trying to add to his highlight reel, so he's picking all of his signature champions.
Beautiful said.
Had a standout game on the Zoe where he was one-shotting people left and right. His Rumble is extremely good in lane, especially if it goes up against a low-range matchup. Now, it is going to be a counter pick here for World Class, but if they take anything that has to walk up and melee get farm, you're going to take a lot of harass from this Rumble. And especially once he hits 6, expect him to roam around frequently with Mike Young and look for engages around these objectives where you can get enemies caught out in choke points, trapped inside of that ultimate from the Rumble. And once again, it's going to be the pick potential for Winter. He had a really good performance of the Blitzcrank last time. It shuts down a lot of the aggression from world-class esports. You've got this Callista hippity happening all over the place, but it doesn't matter if you get hooked in, knocked up, and silenced.
Yeah, there's no way that's going to play through there. I do think the static field from last game did definitely shut down some of these fights before they even started. So definitely a wise choice here from Winter. Sorry about that. Looking to see what could be finishing up this composition here. I'd be disgusted if I saw that Zoe hovered even longer than... What is this?
Okay, so we're most likely going to see Rodolph taking the Rumble into the top lane. Fire, he's going back to the Zoe. He didn't get enough of it game number 1. He decides to try his hand once again. And this is an incredibly powerful siege and poke comp coming through for ANEW. And it's exactly how they like to play. They will trap you into a little corner of the map and say, this is where you are allowed to be. And then Fire just going to be shooting fish in a barrel. He's just going to be taking pot shots over the walls with the Sleepy Bubble Trouble all game long, and they will just corral you in. You will feel like sheep herded into a pen. And unless World Class can do something different this time, try to break out of that little pen, break out of their area of the map, I don't see this game going much different than game number 1.
Yeah, I love seeing Fire bob for apples. He does a great job every time. But either way, they finish up their comp. We did secure and see that Gangplank. That's going to be running up there against the Rumble into Speedo's hands. And of course, Eclipse decides to respond with the Galio. And if we look back here, unless you are making use of the hero's entrance and getting some of these early plays, that Galio is not going to be doing much for your team.
Now, what it is able to do is it's able to match any roaming that Fire is going to be pulling out. And Fire, especially on this Zoe, loves to be mobile around the map. He teams up with Mike Young, goes everywhere. So at least now, Eclipse will be able to help out City Witty if ANEW decide to get super aggressive and push into the jungler. He can just hero's entrance straight over to his buddy. You also have the cannon barrage from the Gangplank, so there's a lot of global options for World Class where they don't necessarily have to have their whole team in one location to fight. They can just use their global ultimates to assist the fight without sending those members there.
Hey, all I'm gonna say, Audio, is when it comes to what I think hits first, is it gonna be the Bubble Trouble from the Fog of War, or is it gonna be the hero's entrance in response to that?
I mean, that's all gonna come down to execution, and when it happens, when it comes down to the execution, I usually favor the more veteran players. And Fire, Mike Young, they have such a good synergy together. They're such talented players. They're such important voices on this team that I have a lot of faith in them going into this game. However, I don't want to count World Class out. I hate doing that. They put together a good comp, and I think that it has a lot of strengths, but they really have to be on their best performance here in game number 2 if they want to keep their playoff dreams alive.
Absolutely. One thing I will say, though, if you had never watched ANEW before and you only saw that first game there, some of the best applications I saw from their comp as a whole was they were making great early rotations, coming through at least 4 to 5 members on some of these early objectives or some of these tower dives into the bot side of the map. And with a comp that they've already set up for themselves here, you need to see lickety-split, quick responses from world-class Empyreans in response here into Game 2. You cannot have that lag time we saw in Game 1.
Absolutely not. And for world-class Empyreans, this is not the end of the road either. There is still a loser's bracket, and honestly, ANEW is one of the favored teams to go all the way. They won UPL last year. They won Scouting Ground Circuit last year. This is a strong organization. So going up against them their first time, if you don't win out, it's okay. You might get another chance.
Yeah, it's definitely something we'll be looking forward to here. But with all that being said and the 2 conditions set here for both of these 2 teams, all I can say is we've got to leave it up to the professionals here. With that, though, we are going to be getting everything loaded up as we move our way into the second game of the night. What could potentially be the last game here for world-class Empyreans. We'll be right back. Stay tuned and don't click away from that browser. All right, welcome back. Getting into game 2 here of ANEW Esports versus world-class Empyreans. And with this being all said and done, world-class Empyreans have got to have a lot to show on the board here going into the second game. I hope I don't see the loss of that early level 1 invade. That's my favorite part of this team.
They do tend to back off the level 1 when they are
not today, ANEW. Not today.
No. I mean, I like this because if you're going to be going against ANEW, you have to pull out something special. Mikey, though, he's going to spot it out right away.
I know he's going to spot it out, but like you've said in the past before, world-class Empyreans don't just give up the minute it fails, but it looks like, as it being said and done, they're going to play it a bit safer, make this a bit more easy on my heart. Oh, come on, ANEW. Even if they were playing 100 Thieves next, I'd love to see it. It's content. Content.
It seems like all they're good for this series. All right, so going to this game. Let's talk win conditions. Okay, I don't want to roast any world class anymore. I do think they're a good team, and I really have enjoyed watching these teams' games since their rebrand. I think they play fast, they play proactive, and it's a style that really needs to be in the amateur scene more. So I respect this team incredibly much. But you're going up against an incredibly tough opponent. It's going to be up to City Witty once again. You have to find a way to impact these lanes. Get your laners a lead, because if going into the 20-minute mark, you don't have an advantage.
That is just sad to see that play out, by the way. The setup is early. Rodov able to get the early poke there, push Speedo back. He's going to heal that up, but it's a little thing that continues to show me how much just the level of difference in terms of skill here is between these two teams.
Yeah, Rodov is not a slouch on Rumble by any means. Ooh.
Yeah,
That winter
not
hook not quite landing. I do he's going for it though. This is something that Blitzcranks, as long as you have the mana, you should always be looking for. Threaten the hook, because if you only throw out a hook once every 15 minutes, your enemy's not going to be playing respectfully of that. But if you throw out a hook once every 30 seconds, even if it doesn't hit, it's always going to be in the back of their mind. It's that mental warfare.
Yeah, the mental warfare that... I mean, it works. It works. Either way here, just seeing them line up. No one's got quite the lead, apparently, here. Speedo's doing his best to pull something out there. Ooh! The bubble trouble does manage to hit there. We do see the play in the bot. Ooh, Death Sentence is going to land here on the Winter, but it's too early to see any aggressive follow-up. You got to wait for the rotations here from Mike Young and City Witty.
Without something like a hook or jungler intervention, it's probably not going to go too far their way. And Winter, not the target you're looking for either. This wave is going to be crashing in, but both junglers are already down here. So they try to make something aggressive. Mike Young, full HP, double buffs. He's ready to go, level 4.
Yeah, Mike Young already down here, double buffs. You do have City Witty just a bit on the side here. He can make the rotation down. We do see the double backs coming through. If this is the time for a potential gank, it'd be now, but I think we're going to see the double reset. Curious to see where they do put their pressure. I'd like to see some attention towards the mid lane, especially. Like, with 5 fire on Zoe, you've got to start stunting this man's growth into this game. You cannot give him the free reign that we saw in Game 1.
The focus for World Class is definitely going to be towards the bottom side of the map. That's where you need to be getting an advantage the most, but freeing up this Galio to at least get to level 6 without too much of an issue will definitely be on their list.
Yeah, taking those barrel shots. Rodov here, not quite the one to step back. We do finally see the rotation up here from City. The overheat going to be doing its best. Double flash going to come through here, and Mike Young is on the plate. The first blood coming so easily. Going to turn this one down. Throw it in from the sky. City, we take it low. It is going to be the double kill from Mike Young.
And once again, Mike Young reads City Witty like a book. Bottom lane's in trouble. Mike Young's waiting right over the wall for a counter gank. Top lane is low. Mike Young is right there, turns it around for a double kill. I mean, with the playstyle that World Class have set up for themselves, City Witty City, Mike Young is just shutting them down left and right.
You know, I think Mike Young, this series as a whole, is playing on just a completely different level, and you see the difference here, because City Witty almost essentially excels potentially just on Kindred and Olaf, and he tries to get that early advantage lead and transition that for his team as a whole, and it just, when you're on the different caliber of the skill here in response, it is just, it's a completely different picture. It's a no-brainer.
And that was the correct play from World Class. Rodov was very low. He had pushed super far up into the lane. He didn't have vision. The correct play for City Witty was to go top, try to gank for him, relieve some of that pressure, maybe get a kill. It's just the fact that Mike Young knew he was going to be there before he did, and he was able to turn around the play. City Witty didn't expect the volley bear to be right there in that brush, and it got turned around. So I don't want to say that World Class is playing bad, because I think they're making the correct plays. It's just the fact that ANEW are making the correct plays.
I guess they're just there to the plate first, really. They get the first
They're making
step.
me create new words to describe them.
I'm so glad you have your dictionary next to you at all times. Ooh, the flash forward there in response to Thresh. We're going to see the hero's entrance come through as Eclipse makes the response. A great hook, though, from Winter. 5 fire picking up the first kill. Now Mike Young, he's going to play this one as aggressive as he likes. Gets the response on the City when he gets the Stormbringer and throws it over the wall. Takes his attention straight onto Eclipse here. Going to be looking under turn. And as it comes down here, the taunt in response. Oh, it's too far forward. Mike Young getting a double for himself. Oh, Winter? No, not quite. I was about to say, he could pull off an amazing hook.
This is a, not a good start for World Class.
No, it is not.
You can see they want to try to pressure onto these dragons, want to try to make something happen with the globals, but Speedo, I don't think he was level 6 for the start of that. He had a big wave pushed up into his tower, and so he wasn't level 6 at the start of the fight. He hit it mid-fight, and that just meant that the globals were not there to try to punish.
No death sentence for Rovex. Another thing to add to that, in the middle of that fight, I'm pretty sure off the kill that Mike Young got, we saw him get the Stormbringer ultimate. So he literally got it mid-fight and then used that to further the aggression onto Eclipse, I'm pretty sure. I may be wrong, but if I was correct in what I was looking at, that has got to be an insane just reaction time to pull that through there.
Yeah, I was looking a little bit more at the cooldowns for Speedo, so I'd have to go back and check that. Also, important to mention that Rovex was not able to land his hook, but Winter was. So yeah. Anything you can do, I can do better. This is going to be Winter.
You can do, I can do better. And speaking of the hooks here, yeah, not quite. Nothing for him this time around, and quite a shame to be saying there yourself. I mean, the death sentence, that's essentially the whole kit here for Rovex.
Yeah, and once again, City Witty is getting hard shoved out of his jungle. He's almost 10 CS down, he's a level down, and when the Volibear has ultimate and you do not, there's really no way that you can fight for those buffs. So I do think that Mike Young has just been making life miserable for City. He is a good player, he's a good jungler, but it almost feels like he never even gets a chance to play the game.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things that we were looking for coming into this for ANEW. Shut down City Witty, and you essentially get the game for free. So, I mean, the game plan has been followed here. It doesn't matter who really got ahead or who was doing it their best. Mike Young, of course, with the pathing in general and just the follow potential. But, ooh, looking in the mid lane, we do see the Sleepy Bubble Trouble come through as Winter gets taunted. Eclipse trying to follow this one up. The damage is there. The death sentence finally does land. Winter going to be hooking in response. City Witty picking up that kill. Now we see the engage on the top side. Speedo tries to save himself with the cannon barrage, but a big giant bear is going to do as much damage as he likes.
We'll see if they can punish them. Rodov
still
has
trying.
Ultimate.
Hero's entrance is coming through from Eclipse. Rodov is going to be pulled back, but the burn damage is too much to handle. The Cloud is going to be doing its work there as Eclipse picks it up on a Rodov. Now Mike Young tries to turn this back around for his team. Looking for something here. Eclipse gets the knockup in response. City Witty, they're doing their best to kite this man out. The smite comes through. The taunt is in response. The thunder from the sky is not going to put this man down. He's too tanky. And he gets a double for himself onto City and to Eclipse. The bear is unhinged. There is nothing you can do at this point.
Yeah, and that was a item difference for sure. Mike Young completed the Singer Hulk enchantment.
Oh my
City
gosh.
was sitting on red buff, but only a couple of longswords in his inventory. So just doesn't have the stats to punch through the massive health bar, plus all the shielding that Mike Young was getting on the Volibear. And it didn't help that Rodov was able to get a really great ultimate right as the hero's entrance came in, and the entire three-man squad of World Class just face-tanked half their health bars through that burn damage.
Yeah, the equalizer right through the center there just kind of just destroyed half the health bars of everyone in that fight, and it just was a cleanup potential. I was more surprised, of course, by Mike Young's tankiness, and of course, like you said, that came straight through from the Cinderhawk. But now, 10 minutes in, 7-0, Mike Young just doing absolutely, just incredibly dominant performance here into game 2. Rodov here, a bit of the fight here on Speedo, trying to make the escape here, uses the barrel. That is nothing here. The orange is going to be used to throw down the slow here. Ooh, forces the flash out of the man.
I was about to say that the one shining hope for World Class is that most of the gold on the team is focused into Mike Young. He is 7-0-2 on this Volibear. So if you can find fights...
Winter pulls through the hook, static field down, grab him, response, lost in the moment, taken out. Now they turn their attention to Rovex, trying to make the escape. They with grabbing him on the board. The root comes easy, and Shoryu picking up another kill for himself in the bot lane.
Never mind. I was gonna say, if you can find fights without Mike Young in them, you might find a way to...
the equilibrium!
You can't do that! Roland, you can't do that! That's illegal!
That's illegal! I never knew Rodo was a sniper.
So just getting the one tick
5-fire
equalizer,
oh my gosh,
is able to proc the Comet, which in turn procs the Scorch. He stepped into it.
He's gonna take the poker's response. The heal comes out and he goes for the flash. Oh, he's able to save himself just barely there. Gets out with the flash. Now we see the Stormbringer in the bot lane as we see Mike Young arrive to the party, and with the thunder from the sky, lost in the moment is all but dead. Fate's Call going to be used there to try to pin out Winter, but Mike Young is too tanky. He does not care. Forced to flash finally as we see Stormbringer go down. He's going to turn it right back onto City Witty as he knows he's got the heal coming through, the shield coming down, and the Ignite. Finally, the shutdown is graced into the hands of City Witty, but I don't think that's going to be enough to stop this bear just yet. Now we see the follow-up here. Winter going to get the knock-up in response, but did not expect the follow-up from Rovex. City Witty getting the kill on Winter as we see the response from Firefire. It's going to be the 1-for-1, but they're still looking to chase this one out. City Witty, he's got the Gromp on it. It's the snipe, though. A double kill for Firefire.
And at this point, ANEW are honestly just disrespecting world-class esports. Mike Young dives in.
Wait a second.
He's gonna keep going.
Moment. Hero's entrance coming through here. He's gonna take the poke out. Can he make the escape though? He's gonna stand in the bush. He's gonna stand in the bush. Oh, he smites it out onto Lost the Moment. Gonna be going over there. 1 kill in response, but honestly, I feel like it could have potentially moved back.
As I was saying, disrespectful from ANEW. It's working, but Firefire sticking around at 150 HP to try to pick up an extra 3 kills, gets 2 of them, almost gets that 3rd. Mike Young is diving 1v3 into turret range during a cannon barrage and almost makes it out alive.
Rodov is back.
Far in.
Rodov is back. He's got Equalizer up, and he continues to push Speedo out of this lane. City Witty's here for the response. Going to throw down the blind here onto Rodov. But this does not matter. City Witty's already half health, and he's trying to make an escape. Equalizer is down. City Witty is just burning. Rodov with just a simple kill for himself. Whacking off a fly. Let's see if Eclipse now can make up for his team here, because that back doesn't come through. He's able to stop it out. The knock-up, the taunts. It's going to be the shutdown for Eclipse finally onto the monster that is Rodov.
Yeah, if you are Rodov right now, you
Wait
have
a second, hold that thought there. Death Sentence and a double hook onto Winter. We see the flame pushed back. Firefire, they're looking to chase the Winter out. The poke tried to come through onto Lost, but it's going to be the autos that finishes the day. Firefire's under tower, though. A great stopwatch response. We see the teleport come through from Eclipse now. Pushes the aggression onto Winter, but Mike Young in the backline. Stormbringer going to land the smackdown. Turns it around, down onto Eclipse here. Going to be taunted. Meanwhile, near side from the blind. He's trying to heal himself up. The collateral damage, it's going to do enough. City Witty picks that one up. Now they turn attention to Winter as the teleport comes through from Rodov. The burn is going to be finally ticking down as Shoryu makes his way to the fight. The Moonlight Vigil not quite going to hit this one. Rodov doesn't care, though. The turret doesn't mean anything to this man. Going to be trying to chase this one down. Mid turret is down. And I think finally the fight is over in the favor of ANEW once again.
There's not much else to say. This is an 8,000 gold lead, 15 minutes in the game. I wouldn't completely blame World Class if they wanted to surrender this one. Obviously, in a playoff match, that is not something you want to do, and I expect them to go through the game, but it's not unheard of. Look at the gold lead. Zephyr, look at the gold lead. The numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for World Class Empyreans. Eclipse here.
ANEW can do whatever they want. You know, you gotta. This is so hard for World Class.
Slowed out. Bubble Trouble uses the orange. The poke not quite gonna hit. We see the hero's entrance. Winter has arrived though. Potentially gonna look for that hook. The taunt does come through, but a great poke in response. Firefire picks up an easy kill from over the wall. This guy is just phenomenal on the Zoe pick.
It's one of his best champions for a reason, and it draws bans in so many series that he plays. World Class, they thought they could play against it 2 games in a row. They're wrong.
Clips, run away. Run away. Get away from the bear. You can't handle him. Now we see the hook in response. Rodov here. Can he take the 2v1? The flame pulls him back. City Witty trying to push this man out. The auto's doing the work here. It's gonna be a snipe from Lost Moment, but the top side of the map is just getting absolutely blistered in here from the side of ANEW. That's gonna be the inhib turn on the top side at 16 minutes audio and an inhib.
So the question at this point is, how long does it take ANEW Esports to end this game because
not 23 minutes.
Not 23 minutes. The composition from
Ooh, the hook
Class,
coming through. Winter, he's gonna push this one out. Shoryu gets the kill this time. Root coming through. Stormbringer turret is disabled. Moonlight Vigil not quite gonna hit, but the bear does not stop the charge. Stun comes through in the chomp. Mike Young with another kill for himself. Just absolutely disgusting.
All right, we've kind of thrown analytics out the window at this point. ANEW are going to take what they want when they want it. It's going to be very difficult to stop them. I don't think there is much of a chance to stall this game out long enough.
Ooh.
Fire might go down.
Might go down. The collateral damage. That's going to be the grave there. City Witty tried to chase this one out. Winter looking for that response of a hook. Not able to pick this up, but Speedo and Lost Mobile aren't done yet. Show you. Trying to heal up with the Serum. Flashes over the wall, but the burn, it's going to take down. Going over to Speedo. Now City Witty looking for the chase here. Throws down the blind, but ANEW is out of it. 2 kills in return, but 23-11 with the 8K gold lead. One hidden hit down. ANEW is in for it.
Okay, so you only have to do that like 3 more times, and World Class Empyreans might come back. Honestly, I mean, the gold lead, although this game looks so ridiculously one-sided, a 7,000 gold lead is not beyond the realm of, being able to come back. Rodov, we're going to make it a little more, though.
Equalizer, Drowsy going to come through, gets the grab. Fire! That is disgusting. Eclipse over there comes through with the hero's entrance. That looked a little bit odd on my screen. Either way, Fire coming through with the poke again for the double kill. Now Eclipse trying to make the escape, but ANEW is on his tail. Looking for it. The knockup comes through, and Rodov going to pick up the additional 3rd kill here. Baron is not even on the map yet. I can't even tell them that they need to go for Baron yet.
If there is anybody creating content for ANEW Esports, they are having the best day of their life right now. Because this is just highlight reel after highlight reel for all of these players. ANEW are just going to run straight down the mid lane. They're going to pick up their 2nd inhibitor. You can see Mike Young prepping the wave for the dragon that they'll probably go to afterwards.
They're not even... I like to point out that Shoryu... The hook comes through from Winter there, by the way, but Shoryu for a second there didn't even auto-attack the inhib. He just stood at it. He knew he's got plenty of time on his belt here.
He's like, I'll get to you when I'm good and ready.
Don't get too arrogant, though. I swear, ANEW. That type of arrogance is the things that get you caught out, and the hook is going to be the one to cut them out with the flame. We do see the cannon barrage pulled down here. Eclipse not able to get the taunt out, but the Fate's call to get the knockup into Shoryu. Lost him. Could be the first one to pick that one up. City Witty is low here. Mike One chasing out. The stun comes through as Mike Young gets the response here. We do see the equalizer over the wall from Rodov as the knockup comes through onto Winter there. Lost him over. Eclipse going to be able to survive this one as they get another kill for himself. The Lantern potentially going to save the day for Rodov. He's trying to stack up the Ren stack, and it's going to go over to Eclipse, but Mike Young is here for the finisher. He's going to clean up just like the janitor that he is. It's going to be a double kill for the Bear. ANEW Esports.
Honestly, really well played, though.
Really well played, though, from World Class. Yes.
They were able to catch out Shoryu. They almost bursted him out at the very start of the fight. If that hook from Rovex had actually landed, then Aphelios doesn't get time to do a single auto attack. After that, they're able to completely split the fight. Mike Young is on one side. The rest of the team is chasing down the carries on the other. If they had gotten away after picking up the kills onto Rodov, Fire, and Shoryu,
secured.
Yeah, then you're thinking, okay, maybe 1 or 2 more fights, and they actually have a shot at coming back into the game. The fact that Mike Young, though, was able to clean those kills back up on the backhand, grab the dragon and put them to soul point, and then set up vision around the Baron means that they are still in full control.
Yeah, speaking of full control here, they're already warding it out here on the top side. Mike Young going to be... Rovex, the knockups are coming through. The Gravitum is rooting him down. The Infernum's burning him. It's going to go over to Shoryu most appropriately. Now they look to potentially end this series as a whole. That inhib is looking fresh and open here. Winter and Mike Young, they're going to miss that hook out onto Eclipse there. Not quite picking that one out, but they managed to pull out through with the inhib. Continually looking there, Shoryu steps up, gets the root with the Gravitum. We do see the Stormbringer with the absolute destruction from the Eclipse. Gonna throw down as Rodov picks that one up. They turn their attention now on to the Galio, trying to make the runaway, but Winter picks him up with the hook in response. Another kill going over to Mike Young. Cannon Barrage, able to kind of pick off Fire with the slow. Moonlight Vigil gonna come down for the Gravitum, not quite hitting anybody there. ANEW not able to fully aggress onto these turrets as of yet. World Class are able to stunt their death just a wee bit longer.
I feel like if ANEW wanted to, they probably could have ended this game about 5 minutes ago. But every time they get into the base, they're just looking for fights. They're looking for picks. Winter's fishing for these hooks. They want to pad their stats, and honestly, I can't blame them. But if they do wait too long, we just saw the second item completed onto Speedo. Those barrels are going to start doing at least a little bit of damage, and Lost in a Moment has finished his Rage Blade. Items are starting to come through. I mean, I'm not saying that this game, by any means, is now in World Class's hands, but if a couple more of these fights don't go ANEW's way, we might see a world in which they can compete.
Yeah, if ANEW manages, or if ANEW doesn't manage to finish this one out within the given designated period of time, and these fights continue to go even as even can be, which was still surprising to me given how well ANEW's comp scales up. Ooh, flash forward taunt on straight here onto Rodolph, looking for the escape now. He's going to try to kite this one out, but Lost in the Moment has arrived, throws down the equalizer for the extra burn damage, but they're out of that range. Real easy taunt coming through there. Lost was taken low, but the Rend going to be securing that one, but with two members of World Clip spot lane, this Baron is now free on the board. The barrels are being stacked up, trying to steal this one, but the damage just isn't there. Mike Young gets it with the smite. Now they turn their attention towards the mid lane, looking for a chase out here. City Witty trying to pick up the Raptors, but Mike Young is running it down. The Stormbringer comes through here, trying to chase this one. He's just going to opt to clear the wave instead.
Yep, and this is probably going to be the final push from ANEW. They're going to go back to base.
Speedo gets a turret.
And he gets a turret. He's going to spend the last of his gold, and ooh, Eclipse and Fire.
But able to dodge the Sleeping Bubble Treble, reducing the cost. Tries to get out of there with the Proto Belt. You see the heal come down. Now we see these Sleeping Bubble come in response. Sure, he's going to be able to pick this one up. Real easy, but a lantern save the day. We see the Moonlight Vigil come down and just barely sure he was able to kill him out dead. Now Mike Young here looking for the chase. The spike does come down. Another lantern here from the side of Rovex. Now aggressive straight onto Winter with the Death's Dance, but there's not going to be enough for the escape. A hook coming through from Winter, and Shoryu's repetitive damage secures the kill for himself. Oops, Speedo here. Taking a little bit of a trade from Rodolph. He's going to take that poke, but he's got to give up that blue buff. That is not your jungle to lie in. The equalizer does come down from quite the distance. Gangplank's able to get out of that one.
World Class are trying so hard right now.
Hanging on by the skin.
They are fighting for every single second that they get to stay in the game. Fire and Eclipse, Eclipse and Lost in a Moment had this really good time down in the bottom lane where they were able to use a big wave to bait in two members and get kills.
Slow out, Stormbringer, Mike Young, a disgusting bear in the backline. Fire gonna get the response on to Lost in the Moment. Now they're under the Nexus turrets. City Witty here in the mid lane, pushing out Rodolph while he can, getting chased out. Meanwhile, the base getting absolutely demolished in return. One turret gone, two turrets gone, as Shoryu gets the kill onto Eclipse in response, and Speedo goes down in the mid lane. It is all but a few auto attacks away for ANEW Esports, securing themselves an additional seed here into the Upsurge Premier League playoffs.
Shoryu gets the kill there at the end with just the turret. The turret three-shot Eclipse. That is how ridiculously far ahead they are. 39 kills in 25 minutes. ANEW, it felt like they might have played with their food a little bit at the end of the game, but still, one of the most dominant performances we've seen from them. And if any of you had been doubting ANEW after some of their recent dropped games in Challengers Uprising or them falling down to Mirage, I mean, those doubts should be lessened, or if not shattered at this point, because that was some of the cleanest League of Legends I've seen in a little while.
Yeah, it's been definitely a little while for you, Audio, but just speaking in regards to the Scouting Ground circuit, I've seen ANEW play before. I definitely think in terms of caliber, they brought a different style to this game. They took it to a different level of aggression. As we pull into this playoff season, they honestly seem like a different team.
Yeah, this one definitely felt like ANEW were just a cut above World Class, and that's honestly what a lot of people expected coming into this series. World Class were the underdogs. People, we said if they took a game off of them, that would be at least something for them. And I think that they got their game plan in both games, actually, especially game number 1, where they had more or less a free draft. But the style where you play around City Witty and Eclipse, this jungle mid duo, doesn't really work up against one of the best jungle mid duos in Scouting Grounds. Mike Young plus Fivefire. These two are just so damn good at League of Legends. Sometimes even teams like Maryville or 100 Thieves have a hard time shutting them down. So, I mean, I don't really fault World Class. I think they tried so hard. They fought back really hard in both of these games. At the end of the day, it just seemed like they were a little bit outclassed. I do like, though, that they stuck to their guns. They have a playstyle that's super fun to watch, and honestly picks them up a lot of wins, especially against some of the lower teams in the brackets that just cannot match the way that they play. But this time, the mechanical ability of the players on ANEW were able to punish some of the mistakes that come along with this super fast-paced game style, and it didn't work out for them.
I definitely think looking into the future here, especially with Upsurge and just the general Scouting Ground circuit as a whole, there's definitely some potential for world-class Empyreans. I definitely think they have a few issues they need to work out. If they're going to play the hard and fast early game, they've definitely got to have the clean, lack of mistakes and bleeding to back that up. But with that all being said, is there any last things you kind of want to input here, Audie, before we sign off?
Just got to say thank you to World Class Empyreans for producing the stream. Well, Nick NCS for actually being the man behind all of it and setting it up. But World Class were the ones that were able to host us tonight. And I mean, it's awesome that we get to see more Scouting Grounds games. This was an Upsurge Premier League game, but World Class making sure that all of their games are able to view to the public is a great thing. Make sure you guys follow the channel for any future games that they might show. Make sure you check out Upsurge. This is not the end of the road for World Class, so if you want to watch them play more, if you want to watch ANEW play more, go check out the bracket, go follow the main stream. Scouting Ground circuit is heating up. We're getting towards the end of a lot of the circuits. Upsurge is wrapping up, Big League is wrapping up, and things are getting more and more exciting by the day. So I'm super glad to just be here to talk about the games with you. And I love League of Legends, and I love this scene.
With all that being said there, you've got World Class will be having a little bit more experience come through onto this channel. You've got them back here on Monday. And then furthermore, this week, they will be on Upsurge this upcoming Thursday. But with all that being said, I do want to thank everyone for coming out to support the official World Class stream. We always appreciate everything you throw our way. It's really great, and we love any of the compliments and comments that we get. And like you said, Audio, a massive shout out to Nick for behind the scenes production here. It is amazing, and he always does a fantastic job. But on the behalf of ANEW, World Class, my color Audio, and of course myself, your play-by-play caster, Zephyr, we hope you stay safe and have a good night.
I've been thinking about you.